The morning light filtered softly through the thin curtains, filling the small living room with a golden haze. The clock ticked lazily on the wall, and the rhythmic chirping of sparrows outside made the air feel alive. But inside, the room was still except for the slow, uneven movement of a man trying to stand up. Mr. Karim, 68 years old, sat on the edge of his worn armchair, his hands pressing hard on the wooden armrests. His breath came out in small puffs as he tried to lift himself. His legs, once strong and sure, trembled like tired branches in the wind. Every inch upward brought a flash of pain through his knees. He paused midway, muttered something under his breath, then finally pushed through until he was upright. He stood there for a moment, bent slightly forward, clutching the back of the chair for balance. He reached for his walking cane, the polished wood smooth from years of use. He used it like a third leg, steadying his weight before taking the first step toward the kitchen. The sound of the cane tapping against the floor echoed softly through the small house. After only a few steps, he stopped and leaned heavily on it. A sigh escaped him, the kind that carried both frustration and surrender. These legs used to climb mountains, he murmured, voice thick with memory. Now they can't even make it to the kitchen. His eyes, pale brown and full of weariness, drifted to the wall. Hanging there was a photograph faded slightly at the edges. In it, a younger version of him stood proudly on a mountain trail, a backpack slung over his shoulders, a bright red scarf fluttering in the wind. His smile in that picture was wide, his posture tall and strong. For a few seconds, he stared at it, the corners of his mouth twitching upward. Then the smile faded, replaced by a shadow of longing. He turned away, lowering himself back into the chair with effort. His knees made a faint crackling sound as he sat. He rubbed them slowly, as if trying to coax warmth back into them. The ache was familiar, deep and dull, like a constant whisper reminding him that time had moved on. The television sat silent in the corner. The morning news had ended hours ago. A teapot rested on the small table beside him, but it was cold now. He reached for the cup, took a sip, and grimaced at the lukewarm taste. Setting it back down, he leaned his head back and closed his eyes. The sunlight from the window fell across his face, and for a brief moment, he dozed off. The sound of small footsteps stirred him awake. He opened his eyes just as his 12-year-old grandson Ali came bounding into the room, a tablet clutched in his hands. The boy's energy filled the space like a gust of fresh air. His hair was messy, and he was still in his pajamas, but his eyes shone with excitement. Grandpa, Ali said half shouting as he rushed over. Guess what I found? Mr. Karim smiled faintly, his voice soft and teasing. Another game, I bet. You children never run out of those. Ali shook his head. No, this one's different. It's a video, a doctor talking about how old people can make their legs strong again. It says, do this once a day, and leg pain goes away. The old man chuckled, a rough, kind sound. Ha, another internet miracle. They've been curing everything online these days, except the truth. But Ali wasn't discouraged. He jumped onto the carpet and sat cross-legged near his grandfather's feet, swiping through the screen eagerly. No really, Grandpa, look, it's short, only 5 minutes. The man says even old people can do it. Come on, just watch with me. Mr. Karim's eyes softened. There was something about the boy's enthusiasm so pure, so hopeful that he couldn't resist. He leaned forward slightly, resting his hands on his knees. All right, beta, he said with a small nod. Show me what your internet doctor has to say. Ali grinned wide and hit play. The video began with gentle music and a calm voice. On screen, a smiling elderly man stood in a park, explaining simple leg stretches. You don't need a gym, the voice said. Just a few minutes every day. Move your ankles. Stretch your calves. Keep your knees alive. Ali mimicked the moves immediately, pointing and laughing. See? Like this? He straightened his legs and started rotating his feet in slow circles. Mr. Karim watched, amused, and then hesitated. My joints aren't like yours, Ali. If I move too much, they complain louder than your grandmother used to. Ali giggled. Just try, Grandpa. A little bit. The man says small steps make big changes. Something stirred in Mr. Karim then. A faint spark of curiosity. He placed his cane aside carefully and leaned back in his chair. Slowly, he lifted one foot off the floor. The movement was shaky, but he managed. His ankle rotated half a circle before a sharp sting made him stop. He winced. Easy, Ali said, watching him closely. Just like the man said, slowly. The old man took a deep breath and tried again. This time, the movement was gentler. The pain was still there, but somehow it felt different, like his joints were waking up from a long sleep. He switched to the other leg, moving it just as carefully. There, Ali said proudly. You're doing it? That's the first step. Mr. Karim smiled for real this time. Huh, maybe this doctor of yours knows something after all. Ali beamed. Tomorrow we'll do it again, okay? Every morning, I'll remind you. The boy's excitement was contagious. For the first time in years, Mr. Karim didn't feel old, not in the way he used to. He looked at his grandson's bright face and felt a strange warmth spreading inside him. All right? Captain, he said playfully. We'll do your exercise mission, once a day. Deal? Asterisk deal, Ali said, offering his small hand. Asterisk the old man laughed and shook it gently. The sound of their laughter filled the room, blending with the distant chirping outside. The pain hadn't disappeared. Not yet, but something had shifted. Asterisk when Ali left the room a few minutes later. Mr. Kareem sat quietly, gazing again at his old photograph on the wall. This time he didn't look at it with longing, but with a spark of determination. His legs still hurt, but his spirit felt lighter. Asterisk, he reached down and flexed his feet once more, whispering softly to himself, maybe tomorrow, we'll go a few more steps. Asterisk, the sunlight warmed his hands, and for the first time in a long while, he believed that maybe, just maybe, his best days weren't entirely behind him. The sun rose slowly over the small neighborhood park, spilling golden light across the dew-covered grass. The air was cool, crisp, and smelled faintly of wet earth. Birds darted from tree to tree, their songs weaving through the soft rustle of leaves. The old park benches were still damp, the jogging track glistening faintly as though the earth itself had woken fresh from sleep. Asterisk Mr. Kareem walked along the path, his steps slow but sure. There was no cane in his hand today, only a folded handkerchief tucked into his pocket and a faint smile tugging at his lips. 2 weeks ago, walking even to the gate of his house had felt like a climb. Now, the park stretched before him like a victory ground. Asterisk, he could feel the morning air brush against his face, cool and alive. His knees, the same knees that had once groaned with every move, felt strangely lighter. Not perfect, not young, but strong enough to carry him forward. Each step sent a quiet rhythm through his body, as if his legs were remembering something they'd long forgotten. Asterisk beside him, Ali ran in short bursts, occasionally circling his grandfather like a puppy. His laughter echoed across the park. Grandpa, look, I can run backward. He turned around and started jogging clumsily, almost tripping over his own feet. Asterisk careful, Mr. Kareem said, chuckling. If you fall, your mother will blame me for teaching you bad habits. Asterisk Ali grinned, and came back to walk beside him. But Grandpa, you're walking faster than me today. Yesterday you were slow. Asterisk Mr. Kareem looked down at the boy, eyes twinkling. That's what happens when you train a champion. You should have seen me in my youth. I'd walk 10 kilometers before breakfast. Asterisk Ali gasped dramatically. 10. Without sitting. Asterisk the old man laughed, the sound full of life. Without sitting, and sometimes even uphill. But that was long ago. Asterisk, they reached the edge of the park, where an old neem tree stood tall, its roots curling like veins across the ground. Mr. Kareem stopped, taking a deep breath. The air carried a faint scent of flowers and freshly cut grass. He placed his hands on his hips and stretched gently, tilting side to side just like in the video they'd been watching together every morning. Asterisk Ali mirrored his moves, giggling. You look like a superhero warming up. Asterisk Mr. Kareem straightened, pretending to puff out his chest. Maybe I am one super grandpa, the man who fights knee pain and wins. Asterisk Ali burst into laughter. Then I'm your sidekick, Dr. Ali. I find the YouTube videos that save the world. Asterisk they both laughed together, their voices bright. Aga.